So the first step in your creative process should be doing research and finding inspiration for your designs. The reason that's important, as I believe I mentioned earlier, is the two worst things you can ever do is when you're doing a presentation to a client is either show them work that looks too much like an old design that they've discarded, or even worse, a design that looks like their competitors. So for your research and inspiration, what I want you to do is set up a 4-page or 4-artboard document in Illustrator. Now, I already have this set up. If you're going to do it, come here to File, New. Go ahead and choose 8.5 by 11. You want to do it in the horizontal format over here. And here's where you would select your artboards or pages here. So once you have those 4 set up, you can go ahead and click Create. I already have it set up here. So the first page, what I want you to do is find anything you can on the company, any existing designs, anything that they've done before. On the second page for research, what I want you to do is find anything from competitors or anyone you think might be one of their arch rivals in here. So the first place you should start is actually the company's website. So if you go to californiafruit.com, this is actually the website of the company you're going to be working for. Now, I'm using Safari. I can just drag everything off on here. If you're using Chrome or a different browser, you may need to actually save things onto your desktop and then place them in there. But in Safari, I'm able to just... So here's kind of their old logo. It's kind of got a vintage feel to it. That's part of my research. I've got a layer lock because I'm on the wrong layer here. Let's try it again. All right, so that's an old logo. Let's see what else we can find down here. Here's a variation on the logo. That would work as well. So I'm just going to drag this off. Now go around their website and see what else you can do. Now we're going to come back to this on inspiration because you may want to grab some of these photos too, and I'll explain why in a minute here. So if we go around their website here, if you click on About, let's see if it shows us anything. Not really. Home just takes us back there. Let's see what else. Anything else in here that we can click on? Doesn't look like there's a whole lot. Let's check here again. Under About. Let's see. Somewhere in here. Our Story. Nope, I guess that's probably it in here. So again, definitely check out their company. Then you might want to just Google the name of the company as well too. So you can do that, and I'll show you. Here's the logos that I pulled. So this is going to be all their existing logos that I found. And we'll put these on this page. You can make them as small as you need to get more on there. Now to save time, what I've done is I've already pulled a bunch of stuff. So here's other things that I found around the web here. And what you're going to discover, because I recognize some of these, this is actually one of their pieces. But a couple of these, this one and this one, actually, it's been several years since I gave out this assignment, but that's actually student work from this assignment. People who have put that on their website, which is fine because these are other designs that are out there, and it's always good to have that reference on there. So you can see what's gone before. Here's a photographic solution that was done. Here's one that's more illustrative. All right, so Google California Fruit Company. See whatever you can find on there, their existing or older logos, anything, even if you do find old student work from that. So that's page 1. All right, try and get as many on here as you can. In the interest of time, I'm not going to fill it up. Then we get to page 2. This would be anyone, their competitors, any other fruit companies, anything you think that you want to put on here. So again, here are some older vintage labels. Here's some more modern versions. Now these aren't all strawberries. Here you can see this is for avocados. Here it's the California Rare Fruit Growers Association. But these could all be companies that, if not competitors, there are other companies that are in the space. So You want to make sure that any logo or design you come up with isn't too similar to what's come before. So first page, anything existing you can find on this company. So now that we know that this was the existing logo they use, you're not going to want to design a look that looks too close to that. On the second page, any competitors or any related companies such as this. So now you want to make sure that in your designs you're not mimicking this layout and design on anything as well. Then the last 2 pages is really going to be up to you. This is anything that you can find that you think you might be able to take inspiration from. So here I've just pulled some stuff. I pulled some vintage pieces kind of in that WPA style that I talked about in the style lecture. That might be a style that would work well for this label. I also pulled some logos. Now this one's for a vintage bike shop. Obviously I'm not selling bikes, but I kind of like the way they've done the type in here. And maybe instead of a bike, that could be a strawberry in there. Here's another, this is another coffee company logo, but I kind of like this abstract circle. Maybe there's something I could take from that. I pulled this logo. I'll zoom in on it too. I like the vintage type. You know, maybe instead of doing the artichoke here, I could do a strawberry. So it's not about stealing ideas, but you can be inspired by the way the type's laid out, the use of icons. I pulled this too, I found online. I really like this kind of hand-done style of, you know, what if I did a strawberry design done in this hand-done style as well. So find anything where you think you can take inspiration. It could be a specific style. Like I said, here's the WPA style. It could be an idea for how to lay out type and shapes or different styles of illustration or design on here. I pulled this one. This is another coffee logo, but what I love is they have the 2 little coffee beans that form a heart shape here. What if I had 2 strawberries that formed a heart? Or the actual strawberry shape kind of forms a heart all on its own. So that might be something to consider. So anything that you can take inspiration from, that includes also fonts that you found. Obviously, I'm not selling lemon milk, but I kind of like that logo. This this typeface. This typeface was kind of interesting too. It has a little bit of a modern Art Deco feel to it. And then I found this font, which is very, very vintage if I wanted to go that direction. Here's an Aaron Draplin logo, and I just like the way he stylized everything here. So imagine if I zoom in on this, you know, what if these were strawberry fields in the front, and instead of Portland here, I had, you know, a little farmhouse or a barn, and then I had the sun rising, and it would make it look, you know, not so much about strawberries, but the farm it's come from. You'll also notice on here what I've done is I've pulled color palettes that I thought were interesting that might be good to use for this project. I pulled a couple of them. And then I also pulled, well, these palettes actually came with photos attached, but you can find photos that you can use, and I'll show you why. There's a great new function in Illustrator that they added in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a logo. Oh, almost made it without the dog. All right, I'm back. Sorry about the abrupt jump cut you probably experienced, but I just edited out about 30 minutes of hysterical dog barking. Anyhow, I was going to show you this great new feature they've added into Illustrator. So I pulled this logo that I have up, and I wanted to show you why, as you're going through your inspiration, you may want to pull photography. I'm going to just copy these photos for a second and go and place them here. So watch what happens. So this is a great new function in Illustrator, and I'm going to select my logo here. And when I do that, you want to look at the properties panel, all right, which is usually over here on the left. There is a great new function called recolor in here. And when you click on that, you can do a couple things here. You can actually use these bars to go around and change the colors and manually, you know, make them brighter or darker or whatnot. But the reason this is relevant to pulling photography is there is a little tool in here where if you click on the color theme picker And if I come over here to this photo over here and just draw a lasso around this, it will automatically choose the colors in here. Now, maybe you don't actually like all the colors how they are, but then you can go back here and rotate these around. And I always tell my students this, one of my weakest skills as a designer, I've always had a real problem with color. And so any tips that I can have as far as to help me come up with some new and unique color palettes, I'm all for it. So again, you find Recolor in the Properties panel over here. If you click on the Color Theme Picker, again, I can come over here and let's see if it'll let me do it again. Oh, got to select the logo first of all. Click Recolor, click Color Theme Picker. Yeah, if I come over here and select these colors, again, a wealth of different ways. I can actually select the color palette I selected there, or even just these colors here. So it's not letting me do it. I think it only lets you do it once. Reset. Let's try it again. Color Picker. So yeah, this is really going to be a great tool. That's why maybe pulling some photos might be a good option for you on here. So back to your inspiration. Pull anything you think. Now, you may not do a logo like this. You may not, or you may not do a label like this. You may not use this font or this font. This was a logo I thought was really interesting. You know, what if instead of JT, it was CF for California Fruit? I could come up with my own logo for it. I pulled this image here. This is actually from a different grower, but I like this old school font that has the heavy outline on it. So maybe that might be something. So this is strictly for you, anything that you can find inspiration from. And I have to stress again, this isn't about ripping anyone off or copying someone's existing design. This is where you can say, hey, you know, what could I do with a font like that? Or as I mentioned here, what if it was a heart, but it was a strawberry? Or what if I created a really kind of more abstracted circular shape? There's a circular shape here. There's a circular shape here. I'm starting to see some things to see that what I'm drawn to as a designer, so you can start picking some of these things up. So once you have your 4-page, and if you want to add additional pages on here, if you're super inspired and you want to add additional pages on here, what you can do is just use the Artboard tool and you can draw an additional page here. Do come up here and make sure it's the same dimensions on here. So 8.5 by 11, 11 wide, 8.5. Then you can go, we can move this down a little bit. So if you want to add additional inspiration, you can do that. When you're done with this, you want to come over here, save it as your last name. This is assignment 3, which is the label design, but it's the first part of it, part A, we're going to call that. And then come down here and make sure you save it in the PDF format. And then go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and save it on the desktop. And Illustrator as default is fine. You can go ahead and do that. I always click this so I can take one last look at it before I email it. And here you can see there's my client file, competitors, and there's the 2 pages of inspiration, and there's the last page. I didn't put anything on it. Go ahead, you can do one of 2 things. Either upload it directly to Canvas, or you can go ahead and email it to the class Gmail account, which again is art148pack@gmail.com.